I'm Anna.
I'm Ben.
We're AutoSave. Welcome to our channel.
Today we're watching the Apothecary Diaries Season 2, Episode 3. Concubine Jin is dead. Who did it? Why did it?
Why did it?
Could find out now.
What did it?
You ready?
What was the poison? Yeah.
Sweet.
What are in the hands, you know? I feel like each thing that is in the hands in the opening is probably important to the story. Things we'll probably see. For about a year.
Corpse fungus. Are we teaching other people? Oh!
Yeah.
Cow.
仕事熱心ないい子だったんだけどね。結婚も間近だったってのに。
結婚ですか。
英雄会でかんざしを贈られたそうだよ。結構出世が期待されている文官から。
それほど優秀な女官が結婚間近で挨拶もなしにいなくなったと。何か心当たりでもあるんですか。
それがないんだよね。
こうしているとたまに忘れそうになるけど、ここは高級女たちがうごめく花園だ。
戻ったのね。マオマオ、こちらへ。
お呼びでしょうか。
ええ、こちらが。特に問題ないですよ。ここでお話をなさっては。
張飛のもとに長居するわけにはいきませんから。それに、あら。
あら、玉葉様、諦めてください。
She wants
She wanted to be
hear...
entertained.
最近、帝が妃たちに娯楽小説を配っ。
妃たちが読んだ後、次女たちが読み、さらに他の女官たちにも読み、字を覚えようとする者もおります。
そうか。あくまで構想段階だが、こういうものを作ってみてはと思っている。庶民の間では。
Whoa!
芸女のための学校か。
Jinshi, you're amazing.
いいと思います。
いつもの視線はどうした？
体の具合でも悪いのですか？
She loves this idea.
何でしょうか。
いや、なんか落ち着かなくて。
マゾメ。学びたいものもおりますし、よろしいかと。気が明けた後の仕事にもつながりますし。
そうか。
ただ、搬入など利便性がいい一方で、正門が近く、給費が集まる一等地です。気ぐらいの高い方も多いです。心よく思わない方もいるでしょう。
北側にした方が良さそうだな。
North side.
こちらはあまり手入れが行き届かず、使われていない建物もあると、そこを改修すれば十分かと。表向きは
Vocational training.
はいかがでしょう。飯の種になると分かれば、より人が集まります。
そういうものか。
What a good perspective.
毎度当たる博打にのめり込む者はいません。
To a gamble then.
よくないが、育ちがいい分爪が甘いんだよな。
Yeah. He's trying though.
るんだろうけど。あくまで私の主観です。お話は以上でしょうか。
No.
ああ、それこの時期になると勝手にキノコを取って食中毒になる女官が現れて、間違えて食べそうなものをあらかじめ処分してほしい。その際、どんな毒キノコがあるかも教えてくれ。翡翠宮での仕事は毒味を除いて休んでもらうことになる。
Wow.
はあ、そういう話なら玉葉様の前で説明した方が良さそうだけど。先ほどといい何なんだ。何かあるかもしれないが、面白そうだ。
Are we checking to see if anything has been planted or brought here that we didn't know of?
果樹園に松林、そうな場所はたくさんある。今はどんどん生えてくる季節だし。
Do you think we're gonna see Chisui here?
Probably.
南側は省いても良さそうだ。やはり北の方か。
North it is.
なんだこの匂い。
The weird smell?
とするような。
Stings.
前に止水が言ってた変な匂い。漏れた汚水が栄養になってキノコがよく育ってるのかな。
おかえりって。バッチリママ入
体何してたの？大変充実した一日でし
Aw.
た。薬として使えるキノコも収穫できた。毒キノコだと言って置いてきたからいくら破れも立たないだろう。すぐに玉葉様の夕げだから。失礼します。遅くなりました。お二人の手首に黒い紐。
Oh, is that mourning?
夕げ
For
の
the
後に出か
concubine?
けるわ。あなたも一緒に来てちょうだい。
つまり高級で誰か高貴な方が亡くなられたと。
人妃という妃でね。中級妃でも上位の方よ。体調を崩して部屋にこもりきりだったのだけど、帝が通われることもなかったのだから。
本ニャン様がそこまで言うなんて。
正確に難がある方だったの。他の妃や女官への嫉妬が激しくて、中傷したり立場の低い者には
What the fuck?
姫を身ごもった玉葉様が毒を盛られたのは上級妃に対して直接嫌がらせはなかったわよ。人妃様が事情をお聞きになったらしいの。だけど何か証拠でもございまして。疑惑止まりだったわ。こうなってほっとしてしまったの。また玉葉様に何か
She was a threat.
Yeah.
本ニャン様からすればそれが本音だよな。
It's also good information for her.
したらしくてそのまま。
どんな毒キノコがあるかも教えてくれ。
なぜ人師様はキノコを調べろと言って、なぜ玉葉様のいる翡翠宮でその話をしなかったのか。翡翠宮の人間を疑っているからだ。腹の内がバレたら今後の信頼関係に影響するだろうが。
So interesting.
玉葉様は犯人ではないだろう。
No!
毒殺なんて手間がかかるし、他の侍女たちはその手の暗躍には向かない。となると疑われているのを
And she knows.
Oh, me.
キ
No.
ノコ探しを頼む体でこちらの反応を見ていたのでしてしまう。
どうぞ。
おや、人妃の次女だよな。何かにかぶれたのか。
どうぞ。
でも今の傷は。
おやめください。
Someone who was tormented by her, maybe?
自業自得だな。
Same symptoms?
あの顔にただれ。なるほど、見えてきた。人師様の探したかったものが。騒ぎを起こした女は孫妃という下級妃だと聞いた。
Low ranking.
どうかの娘で気立てがよく、帝がネアを訪れることもあったそうだし、おととしのちょうど
2 years ago.
なんでどうしてこんな。
謎の病にかかり、妃から降ろされるという話が出た。嫁に行くこともできない。高級に起き続けたのは帝なりの気遣いだろう。人妃の葬儀であんなことをしたのか。答えは
Because
簡単。
Jin bullied her.
病の原因が人妃にあると考えていたからだ。
Mm.
見つけた。
That doesn't look
It
fun.
looks like the jasmine when it like opens up.
こちらを。
Wow, Mau Mau in gloves. That's something you don't see every day.
She was even walking around with the covering over her face.
これはどこで見つけた？
北の雑木林です。発生自体珍しいのですが、大変危険な代物です。触れるだけでも毒性を発揮。それ以上近づかないでください。人妃や孫妃のようにこうなりますよ。昔親父と薬草を採取していた時にここを見つけまして。
触ったのか？
はい。すぐに洗い流しました。
Wow.
この通りです。
The hand of the lady in
包帯
waiting.
の下にもまだ跡が。
いえ、他は私がやった実験の後です。
え、実験ってなんだ？
趣味です。
なんだ趣味とは？
って見せたっけ。まあ、そんなことはどうでもよく。
そんなこと？
肌がただれ、髪が抜けていました。この毒の出所を探しておられたのでは？
相変わらず察しがいい。
孫妃が突然謎の病にかかり、毒物が原因だと疑われた。その犯人と噂されていたのが
人妃。
Yeah.
そうだ、 実際に毒を持った確証までは得られなかった。そして1年
The
前、
music.
ジンヒにも孫妃と同じ症状が、同じ毒を誰かに盛ろうとして誤って触れてしまったんだろう。それからのジンヒは人が変わったように気落ちしてな。もともと気ぐらいの高い妃だ。
Pride. The idea of not having the school
というのが
where it was
仕えていた
originally
次女たち
planned.
の証言だ。
一見辻褄はジンヒは毒キノコを口にして死んだのですよね。
そうだ。
だとするとおかしいです。このキノコは食べることで腹痛や嘔吐、しびれを引き起こします。口の中には炎症も起こりますが、顔にまで広がるとは聞いたことがありません。
It would have what had to, you'd have to bathe in it?
遺体の顔の腫れはまだ新しいものに見えました。毒キノコをこすりつけたような。引き換え、手は綺麗なままで
Yeah.
ただれてい
The
た。
hand of the.
お、
言いたいことがあるなら言ってみろ。
Conjecture.
数日いただけませんか？できれば力があって口の硬い宦官を数名化してください。確信はありませんよ。
それでもやれ。
命令される方が気楽でいいか。
Mhm.
わかりました。
何を調べるつもりなのでしょう、シャオマは。
だが、ああいう時の薬屋は、あとは証拠を
One final piece of evidence, so it's not conjecture anymore.
着きました。
Okay.
ここを掘っていただけますか？
Dig here.
Corpse? Do you think
Corpse
there's a body
fungus! Oh
under?
my god! That's the bad smell!
この匂いは。
Is it the court lady that disappeared?
Oh my god. Right after she got a hairpin, right?
一発で当たるとは思いません。
人皮で間違いなさそう。
Wait!
装飾品に人皮の紋が入っていた。
はわかりませんが、1年前に死んでいたのでしょう。
She died a year ago?
病に伏せったあたりか。
本物は林に埋められ、別人がなりすましていたのだと思います。
What?
では、葬儀の遺体は。
行方不明の女官をご存知ですか？タオさんという方です。人皮とよく似ているのでは？
Wow.
したところ、背格好もよく似ているとか、ごまかすことも可能かと。
つまり、そのタオという女官は、人皮の次女と共謀。
Because what would happen to the ladies in waiting?
詳しい事情はわかりませんが、きっかけは嫉妬だろう。人皮は自分に似た女官が求愛されたことが気に食わなかったのだ。自分は帝が来てくださることもないのにと、タオはひどく当たられていたらしい。それで、いさかいとなったのか、事件か事故か、人皮は死んだ。
Oh
私たち
shit.
は保身とタオへの同情からか、人皮の死をごまかそうと提案した。タオに断れるはずもない。だが、
That's fucking insane.
身代わりを続けることは不可能になっていく。お偉いさんが勝手につければいい。
She was killed because she wanted out.
証拠が残っていましたので。
証拠？
キノコです。辺りに生えていたキノコは動物の死体や糞尿の近くを好んで生えるんです。体の上でキノコ観察を楽しんでいたとは。
このキノコ、どうする気？
It's in bad taste to do anything with those
面白い
mushrooms.
キノコがたくさんあるんです。
死体に生えるキノコが。
そんな冬中花草のようなキノコは見つかっていません。それに人に生えるなら冬人花草かと。
没収だ。
No.
Did you see the
One
ones on the floor?
left.
You're not allowed to touch dead bodies, Mao Mao.
死体から生えるキノコか。あるとすれば、どんな姿で、どんな紅葉があるのだろう。
This reminds me of the Suri conversation. Like something to bring somebody back to life, you know? Okay, that was the Apothecary Diaries Season 2, Episode 3. That was a twist. That was not what I was expecting, and I love it. So good.
It had nothing to do with the scented oils and the possibility of pregnancy with Gyokyu and Lady Luha. And if it did, it was maybe only in terms of being used to like help us figure out
I think it's
clues for that situation.
No, I think it's like just
because this seems totally separate.
This is such like we're used to the conspiracies of very high-ranking concubines officials, but god damn it, it's going on everywhere. Like there's so much animosity and different people's own motives and intentions and their own way to get over somebody else on every level, fundamentally, it seems.
Like,
every concubine.
As we hear, there are like 2,000 women in
Yeah.
here. And honestly, wait, what episode number was this?
3.
I'm pretty sure Fuyu was episode 3 of season 1. That idea of a concubine feeling love, feigning an illness in order to hopefully secure her love and her true affection outside of the palace walls. Whether the fact that the emperor probably would have favored her if she had danced well, but she didn't. And she was able to leave as the court lady Tao was about to be able to leave and have a happy marriage and have love.
You're right. Damn. Well, I love this episode. I feel like this was such a classic, like, season 1 episode of the Apothecary Diaries.
Mm-hmm.
It was so good.
Because it was, I feel like last episode was very, like, there's a bunch of different places we could go with our thought and a bunch of things happening at once.
Yeah.
And it felt like this episode was much more focused on, like, a singular storyline, if you will. This kind of idea of concubine Jin's death and then us unpacking it, and it got incredibly intriguing as we unpacked it. But obviously there has to be elements of it that are going to affect the story in the future.
Yeah.
Not sure which aspects of it are going to come back.
The mushrooms could go into storage.
Mushrooms could come
You
the
know?
mushroom idea could come back. Is something happening to the lady in waiting, who obviously was the one that probably ended up killing Tao in the first place? Concubine's son, like, what's gonna happen with her? Is she going to be able to be healed from whatever was done to her 2 years ago? What else about that? Oh, maybe it's just focused on the north side. We're about to turn this into what did Mao Mao want to call it? The vocational school.
That's the main thing I want to talk about in the discussion.
It's like that might be the main reason for this storyline, was to get us over to the north side.
I don't agree necessarily. Like I think that it could offer us just a peek into like the anxiety we should be feeling with
the paranoia, like the fact that there's going to be infighting no matter what like ranking you're at.
But god damn, the vocational training aspect of this episode is so cool. One of the first things we talked about in returning to season 2 was aspects of Jinshi that we want to see further explored, and one of the things that we both really loved and wanted more of was Jinshi's opinion on the world and the things that he wants to enact change for. And I thought that such a beautiful marriage of that happened this episode through Mao Mao's understanding of what was going on. Mao Mao self-identified or identified Jinshi as somebody who might be aware of himself and of his standard, and because of that he could be out of touch and therefore would be asking somebody like Mao Mao for opinions on this and offering things that he wouldn't be able to think of because of his standing and because of how he was raised. And giving that credit to Jinshi where it's due from Mao Mao is extraordinary. And I love just Jinshi's person, like him wanting to do this and how he feels and how happy he is about it actually working.
I feel like you're bringing up of Mao Mao reading the situation correctly here in terms of why Jinshi would be asking for her help here in terms of like his own awareness of his own, you know, lacking. It definitely shows a growth in her understanding of him and her kind of appreciation toward the fact that he wants to do a good job, and so he's going to get perspectives that he needs. He's not too prideful.
Yeah.
And I feel like season 1 Mao Mao would have been like, why is he always asking me for help, you know, like can't he do this stuff on his own? And if she's not super curious about what, like this, obviously she's intrigued by this because we know her to be someone who would love the idea of these women getting educated. But this has nothing to do with poisons and mushrooms and other things she's normally curious about.
I love that Jinshi isn't surprised or like doesn't have an ill reaction to Mao Mao pointing out that the concubines would probably have like a disgusted reaction at the ladies in waiting and everybody else like just getting educated.
Mm-hmm.
Like I that would have felt like not a crazy response for somebody of a higher ranking official to have. Like, what? No, they're
high-standing ladies. They're, you know.
But, like, that's not who Jinshi is. And that's why I love Jinshi. I love him, and I loved being able to see that aspect of him this episode.
I also feel like bringing up something from the first couple episodes of season 1, too, for this conversation about how the concubines could feel about educating the servants. Like, yes, we're doing it with the means of like, oh, this idea, like after your tenure is up, you could then go get a better job. But if we're talking about it like, well, while they're getting educated, there's going to be pride and jealousy involved. In the first episode, we're given the idea that even servant girls could catch the eye of the emperor and be promoted to a concubine status. Every woman in this palace, in the rear palace, is competition, is a threat. So if they then become more educated or able to kind of prove themselves as wise, beautiful, talented, smart, anything that is alluring, they're joining the competition even more. They're gaining assets to join the competition even harder than they ever could have before. And that would be seen as dangerous or intimidating to others.
Yeah.
Especially if they were kind of just given their status based on who their parents were.
No, you're right. You will. For sure. It was cool to see Mao Mao like take the proper severe care that she needed to because of given like what it was, and like she had a past interaction with it. She has a scar from it, and just it's cool. See, like, and Jinshi like leans over, just like, fuck no, like get the fuck back. Like I loved it.
I almost feel like you would have expected her to like. It brings me back to the Lihaku bomb scene where she's like, get back, and then it blows up in his face because he didn't listen to her.
But this is like actually life and
like,
death
no,
serious.
Like, I'm gonna actually put my hand out and be like, stop. But like you brought up the severity in terms of how she's acting, she's telling us the severity before we even know what the severity really is before we even see the mushroom in question here. The first time she goes to the north side to look for mushrooms, she has no covering over her face from what I can recollect.
Yeah.
But the second time after she sees both concubine Jin, which is actually Tao's body, and the hand of the lady in waiting, she already suspects either what it is or how dangerous
she's
it could
going
be.
Prepared.
She's prepared. And I appreciate the efforts that she goes through here, because what it tells me is to trust more the fact that when she downs poison and Jinshi freaks out, like she knows her body, she knows her limits to some extent, and maybe in the first season we could have questioned it a little bit more, like, oh, Mao, that was stupid of you, that was silly of you, that was dangerous. But now we're seeing that there is stuff in this world that she will take the precautions. She won't just down the poison.
It just gives respect. Like, you're giving respect to what this thing is and what it's capable of. What do you think Shisui's reaction to it being a body is going to be? Do you think we're going to get to see that? Because we got the idea of there being a smell on the north side and it potentially being sewage from Shisui last episode.
So I could also bring up the idea of, would Mao have even offered the north side if she hadn't heard about it from Shisui? Yeah. Like, is the reason that Shisui brought up the north side because she knew of this? Is it because is there some other reason she wants the north side to be where this takes place? All we know is that Mao only knows about this place being a possibility of good for the vocational school purely because she's aware of it from not being maintained, the fact that it's not heavily utilized right now. There are abandoned buildings. It's kind of the perfect place to kind of out of the way build this school to teach.
Yeah, definitely.
And obviously, like, it's not like Shisui could have read minds and known that they were planning on teaching the girls here.
Yeah. I love the respect that just Mao Mao has from even Goshen still. Like, it's like, it sometimes played up, you know, like for the comedy of like how dark or absurd it could be, like with the mushrooms at the end. But I love the awareness that, yeah, when Mao Mao's like this, she only needs one more thing. And also Mao Mao's identifying, okay, I don't want to make any like bold outright claims. And then Jinchi's like, go ahead. That it makes it feel easier for
like,
her
I'm
to
giving
be
you
able
an order.
Yeah.
In the 3rd episode of season 1 was also when we started to see who Goshen was kind of maybe as a person, or how he might have viewed Mao Mao.
Yeah.
He looks at her in this way that was kind of like question mark for us when we first saw it, when we first watched the first season, when she's talking about Lady Fuyu and the flower that her name represents as they're looking at her through the window. And to kind of have another kind of showing in this episode of the trust that he, not only Jinshi, but he himself has gained for Mao Mao.
Mm-hmm.
And we even have him being one of the eunuchs that goes with her to the north side to look for the body. It's like in this episode, she's also on a mission with him again.
Yeah. It's so interesting too, because at the end of episode 3 of the first season, like, we get the what kind of medicine would it make in terms of, yeah, if love make growing mushrooms on bodies, like
what type of medicine would mushrooms that grow on bodies make?
Yeah.
Interesting. I know that conversation piece of like what kind of medicine would the mushrooms that grow on bodies make brings me to the first time we ever saw a corpse in this series, which I can't remember exactly what episode it was. But Mao Mao wasn't allowed to touch the dead body because of the idea that there are parts of humans that could be used for medicinal ingredients, and she's maybe too curious. And then we get the idea of like her getting the mushrooms confiscated because they even just grew on top of or near and were fed by a corpse. So it kind of, for me, brings up the conversation of like the morality of the curiosity, like how far would Mao Mao go, and then how far would like kind of the world view that she should go, or Jinshi viewed that she should go.
Yeah.
And if there was a fungus that grew on a person, what is the moral? Where do we go there? Is that something where if they consented to you taking it, is that like cannibalism? Like, you know?
Yeah. Interesting.
But why are we asking a question like that? Because I feel like when we ask what medicine love could make, there's something so tangible to that, because we really explore love within this first season, especially when we're looking at the Pinky and kind of the power of what love can make a person do. Like, love can make you go insane. It can make you make choices like literally losing your career by kind of having a child, you know?
Let's read the actual words, right? A mushroom that grows on a corpse. If such a thing existed, what would it look like? What effects would it have? You know?
Mm-hmm.
Like, it could be so much, man. It could be so much.
It could definitely also be so much because
it could be nothing.
She's not just saying what good effects, but also what bad effects could it
Yeah.
have. Because in the second episode, we get the idea of like bad effects could often be clouded by if there are any like really strong good effects for something.
I can go as simple as it's just broad general curiosity, right? And that shows, like, of course Mao Mao would think that way. To as severe deranged tinfoil, she's thinking about what the after effects of Suri faking the death could have, and if there were any like implants left over or like hidden like seeds that she planted that would grow into the mushrooms from that thematic corpse. I can go so many different ways.
I would say my last thing is, I don't know if it's cheating, so I'm gonna ask you. I really am curious what is in each hand in the opening. And I don't know if that's something that's like we should look at.
I'm
or
torn
if we
because
shouldn't. I'm really torn because I know what the first thing was. It's the silver hairpin that Jinshi gives to her in
Yes.
the first season.
Can I explain why I'm torn?
Yeah, totally.
It has nothing to do with spoilers. It has like, oh yeah, let's do it now, but also like it's kind of fun to realize it during the intro, like while it's live and happening. Like, oh my god, was that? You know?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Do you want to look?
I do want to look, but also for now I'm gonna say no.
Okay.
Because I feel like the next time we watch it, we should look for this mushroom that we get in this episode.
Bet.
And then one last thing. I don't know what episode in season 1 Mao Mao is given the growth on the insect. The kind of fungal growth on the insect that she's like in love with. That Jinshi's like first present to her. I'm trying to remember, was that what she was given when he kind of bought her out from the Verdigris house? You know, he gives all the money, but then he gives her a present as well.
I don't know off the top of my head what episode it is.
But that item is brought up here with the conversation of, is it ethical to use these mushrooms that we just kind of dug up on top of the corpse? And then the idea of like, what if a mushroom grew on a corpse, and that item that she is obsessed with is referenced as well. And I do like the callback, and I wonder if there's anything else to the callback other than just pure comparison.
Interesting. Okay. All right. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and hope to see you next time.